My name's Kirsty Williams, and I'm the Wales Country Manager for Twinkl. So my role is to kind of support Twinkl Cymru, the strand of Twinkl that looks after Wales as a country, teachers in Wales, pupils in Wales, and just to kind of identify what you may need. So please feel free to contribute in any way to this session and really tell us what you need. I'll go through in a minute kind of who the team are and who we're made up of, and you'll be able to see, I hope, that we are experienced teachers, but it's always great to find out kind of from yourselves if there's anything that you need that we're not providing, or anything that we can support you with in future. So I have 12 years primary teaching experience. I worked in South Wales, mainly in Welsh medium primary schools. I worked in Newport, in Bridgend, in Blaenau Gwent. That's where kind of my history comes from, until I moved then to work full-time as a content writer. Again, I'll go through in the slides, the upcoming slides, more about what a content writer does. And I've been lucky enough, I've been with Twinkl now 2 years. I've got a few members of my team here with me today who can probably tell you a bit more about what they do. But that's who I am. And hopefully you'll kind of get a better idea of what Twinkl Cymru does, what we do in kind of the production process, and how we can best support you with resources for the curriculum for Wales. Oh, fantastic. It moves through quicker than it loads. That's something. So meet the team. So as I mentioned, we are Twinkl Cymru. We're a team within Twinkl who provide resources for teachers in Wales. Twinkl's motto is that we help those who teach, which is something that obviously we do in Twinkl Cymru as well. But we've also got our own motto, which is your home for Welsh resources. We are very much looking specifically at supporting teachers in Wales and what you need from our resources and what we can make that benefits you in the classroom. So who makes up our team? Well, as I mentioned, I'm the country manager. And then we've also got well, I'm going to mention you, Martin, seeing as you're here. Martin is our product owner. Thank you for the wave. And a product owner looks after any resources that are made by the Twinkl Cymru team. Then we've got a teacher team leader who looks after our teachers, them being the content writers and editors within the team. We've got a production team leader who looks after the other members that make up our team, so the designers and the illustrators. We've also got a marketing assistant. So I don't know if you're already members of our Facebook group, our Facebook pages, our Instagram page, our Twitter account. Katie, our marketing assistant, looks after kind of the marketing side. We send out a weekly newsletter, and everything that we kind of want to shout about is in there for you to have a look at. 8 content writers. So a content writer's role is, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. They write the content, but this could involve kind of looking at researching a certain topic, aligning resources with the curriculum for Wales. So we'll have a look at where it fits. We'll have a look at the progression steps and decide kind of what age range we think it mostly suits. And they are all teachers. Some of them work part-time with us and part-time in a school. Others, like myself and Martin, the product owner, work for Twinkl full-time. But they're all teachers. They've all come from a teaching background. Then we've got 6 content editors. So they'll check the content then that the content writers have written, check facts to make sure that they're correct. They'll also check for kind of language, layout, check that, you know, the resource looks the best for you when it gets uploaded on site. Then we've got a team of designers and illustrators who design our beautiful resources for you, illustrate any images that we may need to put onto those resources. And yeah, that's everyone that makes up the team. And I'm going to go through kind of our production process next, just for you to kind of get a better idea, I think, of what happens when we go to create a resource. And just the map, just to mention on the side there. So that's kind of, we had this map drawn up when the Twinkl Wales team kind of grew. And this is just landmarks of where people live in our team. So as you can see, they're kind of all over Wales, based all over Wales. We work mostly online. The Twinkl head office is in Sheffield, so we're all online workers and all based across Wales. So the production process, so it all starts with an idea. That could be something that within the team we have identified as something that we think could be useful for teachers in Wales. It could be something that we have seen is performing particularly well on site for other markets in England, Scotland, and we think actually we can take that resource, we can align it for the curriculum for Wales, and we can, you know, market that for you. Those ideas then get fed to Martin, our product owner, and Martin pretty much plans out then the production. So he'll look at how long that resource will take to create, what needs to be involved, who needs to be involved in putting that resource together, and where that resource will eventually sit on site. Then it goes to the content writers. Like I said, all ex or current teachers, and they may research a certain topic in order to provide you with, you know, factually correct resources, and they'll kind of create whatever they need, whether it be a PowerPoint, a worksheet, a song, a comic, whatever we think that, you know, would suit the needs in the classroom. That content then is checked by an editor. So the editor will look at just the content at this point in production, excuse me, and check whether the facts in there are factually correct, that we've got, you know, everything as we should be, that it is aligned with the curriculum, that it's suited to the age range that we intended. And then once it's been checked, it goes to design and illustration, where our fabulous team of designers and our illustrators then, you know, make it look far better than the Google document that they are sent, I can assure you. So they kind of put that, you know, into the form that you see on site for our resources. It's then checked again by the content editor post design for them to check that nothing has changed while it's gone through the design process, to make sure that everything, you know, is clear and visible and, you know, as you want it as teachers in your class. And then once that item is published and on site, then it's over to our marketing assistant to make sure that you've heard about it, that you know about it. So it could go in the newsletter. It may appear on our Facebook channel or our Instagram page, and we just shout about it really. And then for me, my role in all this is to kind of just keep track of what resources are performing well. What do we need more of? What do we maybe need some feedback on? Feedback on our resources is really, really important to us. There is an option underneath every resource online for you to kind of add a comment. If it's something that you found really useful, we really would love to hear from you. And if it's something by the same token that actually you think with a few changes would be more beneficial, we absolutely take that on board, which leads me to our rapid response. So rapid response is a team within Twinkl Cymru, and our role with rapid response is to respond to any inquiries, any requests, anything that you can't find, we will make for you. Lots of people kind of are not aware, I suppose, that we can get a resource out to you. What are we looking at, Martin? How long is the turnaround at the moment for a resource if we're requesting something?
Okay, so it obviously depends a little bit on the size of the resource, the amount of translation, whether it's an original resource, but we aim to get it turned around in under 7 days. And in the last few months, we've been turning rapid response resources around in an average of, it's under, I'm not going to say it's under 4 days. There was a time when for a short period, we had them under 3 days. And like Kirsty said, with all the amount of work and editing, checking that goes on, that's really, really quick. And I'm not sure you'd find another company who could do the same kind of thing that we do on that side.
Okay, so how do you make a rapid response request? So our social media, like I say, our marketing assistant pretty much looks after all our social media outlets. And what she does every morning, she comes to a meeting, and if there has been a comment or a request made via Facebook or via Instagram, she'll feed that back to the team. And providing that we think that that resource is something, you know, that could be used and could be really useful to teachers, then we'll put it into production. So it can be as simple as kind of a comment or just a feedback on an Instagram story. I'd really like this, but I'd like it to look like this, or I'd like this, but I'd like it aligned with the Welsh curriculum. We can absolutely do that. And all those messages and all those requests, like I say, from social media come directly to us. So like Martin said, the chances are, you know, providing the resource is not perhaps a Key Stage 2 ebook, it can be kind of turned out to you within 4 days. Twinkl Cares is the team within Twinkl that responds to customers. And that's another way that you can make requests. You can reach out to Twinkl Cares via email, or alternatively, underneath every resource, there is make a suggestion, suggest a resource, or make a request. And those requests go directly to Twinkl Cares, and the Twinkl Cares team contact us pretty much straight away and say, look, this request has come in, can you put it into production? And that would go on our rapid response then. So Martin receives those requests, and then it goes through the same vigorous production as everything else. It would still have a content writer, the editors still check, it still goes through design and illustration. So yeah, we are able to do that. And, you know, if there's anything at the end of this meeting that you think, oh, I didn't know kind of Twinkl Cymru did that, I'd really love to see more of this, please let us know. We're really open to kind of responding to your feedback, and we'll take anything on board. Let's see, will we move? Yes. Oh, a bit came there. I can't go back. Yes, I can. Okay, so Matt mentioned at the beginning of this meeting that he has shared with you a reflections document. On the reflections document, there are resources that we have earmarked for today's training, and just really showcase an idea. Thank you, Matt. Here it is again. Just really demonstrate kind of what things that we are producing at the moment for the curriculum. So the first thing we've got is the descriptions of learning AOLE pack. So this is based on the areas of learning. It goes through everything from progression step 1 to progression step 5. And it's just the statements of what matters. When we first kind of got the curriculum and had a look at the curriculum, we just really wanted to make it as accessible and quick and easy. We know from being in the classroom that kind of having to refer to a really long document and having to kind of go and find exactly what you're looking for can be difficult at times. So this just makes it really easy for you to have kind of a tick list of everything that's there, straight to hand, that you can refer to if you need to. We work in partnership with Hub, and they've got a few of our resources up on the Hub website. And what we do is we regularly check the guidance on Hub, make sure that everything that we've got on site is up to date with the kind of the latest changes to the curriculum. If anything, has a slight change, we'll edit those documents as well to make sure that they're relevant and up to date. The second resource then is our Curriculum for Wales for Purposes poster pack. So this has been illustrated and designed by our fantastic team. They're really lovely just for display items, to be honest. Even if you were just going to display these items in your class, they're colourful, they're bright, they're engaging. But we've also had feedback that they're really useful for kind of group work and for children to kind of be able to work in groups, discuss the 4 purposes, have them in a child-friendly, I suppose, image, and they can, use them, work in groups, like I say, and just discuss what actually the 4 purposes mean to them. Third one here is the Curriculum for Wales Statements of What Matters Learning Journey Pack. So this is a pack. Again, this would be a lovely display. I know that when I was in school, we very much thought of the curriculum as a journey. And we kind of had this road up, I suppose, all around the assembly hall, and we could track the learners on their journey. What were they working on that week? What were they aiming for in the future? And these can be used, like I say, as a working document or just for display. And then the last one there, with regards to guidance, there are plenty more on site, but these are just the ones we've highlighted today, are the descriptions of learning statement spreadsheets. So these are editable, and you can use these in whatever way your setting finds useful. You might want to use it in the planning, where you can kind of think, okay, we've planned for that skill, we've addressed that in a lesson, where do we go from here, what do we want to do next? You can edit it to put pupils' names if you wanted to kind of use it as a tracking assessment document. It really is up to you. And I mean, the curriculum very much allows for you to adapt things for your setting, for what your pupils need. So this is why this document is editable, and you can adapt it for whatever your needs are. I don't want to press the button again in case it goes too far again. There we go. Okay, so display. I can't quite believe how popular our botanical display items are. Not just this pack, but botanical display within Twinkl has just been massive. I think that the Hessian kind of natural look is very, very popular at the moment, and the botanical display stuff, I mean, it looks great, but it has been really, really popular. And this is one that we adapted for the Curriculum for Wales. So it kind of matches everything that's already on site, all the botanical display packs that are already existing, except that we've used the Curriculum for Wales terminology so that you can use that and have that vocabulary up in your class all the time. And just like I say, it all matches, it's all really part of one big theme. And it's just been really, really popular. So we've shared that with you today. Onto the science and technology display pack then. So these cards are pretty much, again, up for you to use however you like. The vocabulary is taken directly from the curriculum. So we've used any vocab that, you know, is in the science and technology area of learning, and we've just made these very child-friendly illustrations that go with them, hopefully depicting kind of what that word means on a child level, kind of. So when you're thinking about, you know, investigating and things, you could use this in numerous different ways. You could use it just for display and put it in your areas. I don't know if you've got, you know, a specific area of learning display now, or you could use it when you were working on a specific project to perhaps enhance the vocabulary that the children are using when they're discussing certain topics, and also really good for kind of evidencing the skills used. You can kind of use it at the end of a topic and perhaps go through, did we see evidence of this? What did we do? How did we do this? What does this look like? So yeah, they're lovely science and technology display. And then the last one then, the bilingual AOLE display posters. Again, you can use them just for display purposes if you want to. But they're also really nice, kind of, they can be shrunk down and used on boxes for books. If you've got certain books that you use, theme books, these can be there to label those books. They are bilingual. We try and create English, Welsh and bilingual versions of our resources. But if there is something that you see on site that is perhaps in English and you'd like the Welsh used underneath, so that you're, you know, creating that environment that is very bilingual, that you can refer to those words all the time, then, like I say, just reach out to the CARES team or via our social media, and that's something that we can edit then from rapid response. We can take a look at your suggestion, and if you would find it more beneficial to be bilingual, we can do that for you. All of our content writers and editors are Welsh speaking, so they can add Welsh terminology to anything that you see on site. By the same token, if you didn't want to have the Welsh there for any reason, you know, we could just produce that in English. Just let us know. Whatever you need, we can create for you. So bringing the curriculum for Wales into every lesson. We tried when we were given the guidance to create, I suppose, quick wins would be maybe the term that we used on the team. Things that you could, activities that you could give the children to really get them familiar with the Curriculum for Wales terminology really early on, and just kind of emphasize, I suppose, that those words weren't anything to be scared of, that we could go and look for understanding and get a deeper understanding of what was needed. So this AOLE anagram pack is also on your documents and is something that we have done for each of the areas of learning. So we've chosen 10 words and they've been put in to anagrams for the children to decipher first. And this is a really great opportunity for you to be able to discuss, maybe use some dictionary work following this, maybe discuss what that word means from a learner perspective. How does this word look when we're doing various activities? So a really nice kind of starting point for introducing that quite tricky terminology at times. The next one then is the Curriculum for Wales Thinking Skills Caterpillar. So the Caterpillar concept maps are perfect for developing thinking strategies within the curriculum for Wales. This is an example of a resource that was doing really well on site, but was very much geared to another curriculum. So we took this resource, we aligned it for the curriculum for Wales. We had a look at where those skills kind of fell within the requirements of the curriculum, and then we reproduced it as one of our own. So it's really good for kind of evaluating learning and reviewing processes and methods. And then our curriculum for Wales feedback and feed forward pupil voice stickers. So these pretty much do exactly what they say. That's quite a long title, isn't it? And they are in order to deliver feedback and to really get the pupils thinking about the 4 purposes, what kind of learner they are, and evaluating kind of what they've achieved by doing a certain task and what they could do next time. So they're just nice because they're in a sticker form. They have our dragon Tanwen. I don't know if you are familiar with Tanwen. She does appear quite a lot. So she is our red dragon character. And she's on quite a lot of the curriculum for Wales resources. She's in a few comics as well. And we use Tanwen to depict various scenarios, I suppose. And she's here. She was designed by one of our illustrators, and she's used across many of our curriculum for Wales resources. Okay, so curriculum for Wales aligned resources. These are examples now of anything that Twinkl Cymru has kind of made specifically for the curriculum for Wales, or anything that we've taken from site that was performing well. Like I say, that teachers were really seeing a great benefit, but we've aligned them with the curriculum for Wales. So the first example here is our curriculum for Wales PS2. Oh, and I've misspelt lesson plan. I do apologise. And this is mini beasts and biodiversity. So this is a whole pack. The idea behind these were that you could kind of pick up this pack and pretty much have a scheme of work or a lesson that was ready to go. Everything that you needed to tackle a certain strand in the curriculum was here if you chose to use it in that way. By the same token, these are full of resources, and you can dip in and dip out, use whatever you need. This one I know in particular contains an ebook. It may be that you just wanted to use the ebook inside, have a look at the lesson ideas and not use anything else, but they have been designed that you can kind of pick up and run with it, and it does tick numerous boxes in the curriculum. So this one introduces terms such as biodiversity, ecosystems, while learning about the marvelous mini beasts, that's the name of the ebook, and the microhabitats then that they live in. So yeah, like I say, there's a few more. This is number one, but Martin, I'm going to put you on the spot now. Do you know how many of these we have on site aligned with the curriculum?
Of the eco adventurers?
Of the mini beast ones.
Mini beast one. I know that we had around 10 in production. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head how many are actually completed right now. They're really quite large packs, aren't they, because of all the ebooks and whatnot that go with them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure actually that they're part of our originals offering, and there's things like homework tasks and things that go with those. So yeah, they're just really lovely, and they're kind of ready to go resources that you can use. The next one then is the Eco Adventurers pack. So this is Are We Giving Up on Earth? And this is for PS3. Again, this is a pack. This is part of the climate and cycles unit of work. The unit is designed to kind of explore differing opinions, I suppose, on space travel in light of Earth's current climate. It's really, really great for kind of exploring that idea of sustainability, the climate, anything like that. This lesson in particular is where you analyze the opinions of others and then draw a conclusion. But these are great because they don't have to be done kind of within an hour's lesson. You can choose to use these however you need to. But all the resources and all the ways in which these kind of hit those skills in the curriculum are included in these packs for you. And then we've got our Learn Welsh, Pecyn Gwers y Tywydd. So this is the weather pack for Learn Welsh. We've got lots of Learn Welsh resources, things like Helper Heddiw, and we are developing at the moment comics to go alongside these Learn Welsh. We already have comics on site for Welsh learners, featuring Tanwen the dragon. Tanwen features in a lot of our Learn Welsh products, and we'll have a comic then to go with this pack. What's lovely about these is they will work. Oh, Martin, please do.
I was just going to jump in there with a couple of things. Firstly, with the Eco Adventurers, we've got, I think it's 16 resources at the moment that have been aligned for the curriculum for Wales, and the same on the Welsh side. But also with the Learn Welsh packs, like Kirsty says, we're making a comic with that. But all of those resources, the packs we're now producing, I think we're on about pack 5 or 6, have been to the Flintshire Athrawon Bro, who are really keen to give us feedback. We've made some of them free. I think they're still free at the moment, but they're co-constructed with, in particular, the Flintshire Athrawon Bro. And there may be some variation in language across Wales in terms of Cymraeg. So if there's something that's not quite right for your area, I know Kirsty's Welsh is very different to my Welsh because she's from... What's that famous Welsh phrase that you use from Barry Island, Kirsty?
Oh, what's occurring?
That's it. I've never heard that in Welsh before. So what's important is that the Athrawon Bro in Flintshire have helped us with that. But if you want it for your area in a slightly different Welsh, let us know. We'll adapt them for you.
Exactly that. Anything is adaptable. Anything that doesn't suit your current setting, or if you need some changes, if you need additions made to it, if you want it, if you like the resource but you need it differentiated, we really are open to kind of hearing from you. Our main goal is to support you. So whatever you need, we can create, and we'll do our best to make it kind of tailor-made for you and your needs. So yeah, we just would really appreciate any feedback, anything that you can kind of ask for, that you want, that you don't see, is really great for us to hear about. And this pack, which is really nice, is it is available for free on site, because it was one of our first packs. So share it with friends, share it with colleagues. The whole pack is free. It contains a PowerPoint, lesson ideas, lanyard cards, flashcards, posters, display items. The idea is that you can pick up these resources and just use them straight away, and you almost don't have to think about what you want to do for the next week or so, because everything you need is here. So yeah, that's the Learn Welsh pack. And then the last one then is the Enterprise Project Planning pack. So the Enterprise project is a sequence of 8 lessons. Each lesson is based on an entrepreneurial skill. And the idea then is that it supports pupils to create and market a product at school. So yeah, it should have everything you need to kind of get a big school project going if you wanted to. This one is for PS3, but if I'm not wrong, Martin, there are available in other age groups.
They are, and I was actually going to mention this point before as well. If you find a resource or a pack of resources or whatever it is on site that it's not quite for your age group, well, again, let us know. We can make the changes. We'll talk to you about what you want from it. So if there's an enterprise pack that's for PS3, we've often had requests for things that, let's say for the Welsh resources, because they feature a very cute dragon that is maybe secondary teachers don't feel that's necessarily appropriate for their learners, even though I think that would be great. But I think what we will do is take the resources and we'll adapt them, not only in terms of the content, but in terms of the design as well. So, we're very able to adapt things up or down according to progression steps.
Thank you. I'm very aware that I've talked at you all for a very long time. Is there anything that anyone kind of can think of or would like to ask about kind of the production process or any of the resources that you've seen or used? We'd love to hear about what you've been using. Is there anything anyone would like to share?